Welcome back to Chukitable Media.
Let's sit back and listen to the update from the newspapers today. Sit back, get a glass of water, and let's go.
Let's look at what the newspapers are saying this morning. Well, we'll still see some lead stories there on the protest. The Daily Times, hashtag end bad governance. Military will defend democracy, not engage in coup. CDS warns protesters, says flying Russian flag during protesters' treason. Police arrest 39 suspects for displaying Russian Chinese flags in Kaduna. And that's the lead on page 2.
To the new National Star, end bad governance protest day 5. In a panic move, Tinubu summons emergency security meeting as protesters fly Russian flag, ask Putin to save Nigeria. And the riders, we won't tolerate treason, army warns. And Russia denies involvement.
And then you also see Nigerian News Direct, hashtag end bad governance, flying Russian flag in Nigeria is treasonable, defense chief to protesters. DSS arrests sponsors of Russian flag protesters. You also want to look at that. Ariwa Group urges Tinubu to relocate Kanu's Digital Innovation Park to Kebbi. And that's, I think, it's a new demand, and that's on page 2.
To the leadership, EFCC places local government administrators on the watch. Okay, that's another story, but the major headline there: criminals have hijacked hunger protests. Military warns, declares waving foreign flags treasonable offense, refutes coup rumors as Russia distances itself from protesters, and Kaduna government imposes 24-hour curfew.
To that oil and gas probe, Okoje and Reps abandon Obuchinyera's panel. Well, let's look at Standard Times. End bad governance protest is treasonable. Military warns protesters flying Russian flag. Cabal that removed Jonathan activated against Tinubu. Adamu Garba speaks there in that rider.
All right, let's go to this Nigeria. As Tinubu meets security chiefs, it's treasonable to hoist foreign flags in Nigeria. Defense chief warns, says army won't allow democracy to be truncated. DSS captures tailors sewing Russian flags in Kano as police arrest 873 suspects nationwide. Kaduna, Bauchi impose 24-hour curfew.
The Daily News Hub, I think, is leading there boldly with Russian flag. Tinubu orders crackdown on protesters as embassy denies country's involvement. Is treasonable offense. Military police authorities declare safe development worrisome. You also want to see that police tear gas protesters waving Russian flags in Katsina. Zamfara protesters flood streets, brandish Russian flag.
Let's go to the People's Daily. Hunger protests, we won't accept push for change of government. Security Council says bearing of Russian flags is treason. And below that we're told FG issues security alert to citizens visiting the UK. Yes, that's in the wake of the riots going on there too.
And then you also want to look at another story in the next paper. But let's look at what Daily Assets is further saying there. JAM plans mobile exam malpractice tribunal to tackle impersonation, mass cheating by syndicates. You also want to look at that. Protesters defy Tinubu show off Russian flag after address. But then also thugs chase protesters around Sanwo-Olu's office on page 7.
All right, to the Nigerian pilot, which seems to differ with the rest of the papers in its lead headline: Court void sale of Nigeria Air. With the riders, Federal High Court void sale of Nigeria Air to Ethiopian Airlines. Directs that FG's plans to establish national carrier should not proceed. Plaintiffs have sought an order to nullify entire bidding selection procedures for Nigeria Air projects, and they also called for cancellation of approval and selection of Ethiopian Airlines by Hadi Sirika.
And the Nigerian Express looks at that, hunger protest, Tinubu's speech, out of touch with realities. And that's coming from P2B. Your policies worsened hardship of Obaseki knocks president. And then you also want to see that story. Interesting one from Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina resigns, flees to India, page 18. That's one Prime Minister that left as a result of protest as well.
to Business AM. Analysts say review insurance coverage amidst social unrest. Advise business interruption insurance. Insurers respond with innovative solutions and specialized civil unrest. Riot coverage.
What stood out for me in the newspaper today is the flying of flag, Russian flag, in the northern part of Nigeria by the protesters, and a cause for a great concern by the government, thinking that could it be true that Russia has a hand in the protest or influencing the protest in upper north? So that stood out for me. But on the other hand, Russian authority has come out and they deny knowing nothing about what is going on in the upper north, and they didn't even send them the flag to be flown by anyone. So there's going to be a little bit of diplomatic row between these people, the Nigerian government and the Russian government. Let's see the way it's going to pan out. But the interpretation of all this shows to me that people are truly rejecting capitalism, the style of capitalism that we have in Nigeria, how they operate in Nigeria, the absolute capitalism. So people are looking for alternative. People are looking for something else, and they're looking towards Russia. That if it's possible to have something like what they do in Russia, the Russian system of government, whereby not this absolute type of the one we copy from the West. So I think that is why this guy are flying this. I think it's a pointer to the people in power to be able to know that, okay, things has to change. Things has to change. It shouldn't be the same way they operate before. Let them calm down, think about the people, and not, taking everything that belongs to the people and putting them in their own pocket and talking about capitalism, harsh capitalism, ugly capitalism, whereby people will not be able to survive. Put your comment in the comment section. This is Chokitable Media. Hope you understand where I'm going to and my plight. Love the communication. Love the broadcast. Share them to your friends and foe. Till I see you tomorrow. God bless.